Elon Musk wants to colonize Mars. And what I was reading was the first group that goes up there will never come back. They will die there. Yet people are scrambling to go.
They'll probably die on the way there, to be honest.
More likely.
It's very dangerous, obviously. We're not anywhere near, no matter what Elon Musk says, we're not anywhere near the technology to start colonizing other planets. We're not even that close to landing people on Mars, even just for a round trip.
I thought we were going to do it soon.
You know, I wonder what will things be like 8 years from now? I think we will have landed on Mars.
No, it's not going to happen soon. Despite what he says, it's not happening soon.
We're going to dedicate all kinds of resources and money and research and everything like that to try to colonize another planet. Why not take all of those resources and fix here?
But that's what they said about the space race. People were saying, don't go into space, there's no point in it. But there is a point in it.
Also, yeah, that's where I disagree too. I mean, the space industry's budget is so low, and for people to make that claim, actually, it takes away from the research that could come up, even if you don't make it to Mars.
Well, I agree we should have research, but I don't think we should be looking at colonizing.
It's inevitably going to happen.
It's a long-term plan, because eventually, at some point, we're going to run out. At some point, this show's going to end.
Elon says there'll be 1 million people in 20 years living on Mars.
No way.
They're never going to happen.
Well, people told Elon Musk things were a joke, and he's proven
We don't
wrong.
have the technology.
We didn't have the technology to get reusable rockets, and he did.
Because it's not one piece of technology, it's multiple pieces of technology that we don't have.
It is a completely human feeling to want to pursue the next thing, right? You conquer one thing, you want to go to the next.
Yeah. Well, this is all probably assuming that we would have a moon base of some type first, at least basic, just to launch from, because it's so easy to launch from the moon.
You do realize in the 50s, the idea of going to the moon was preposterous, right? And we did it a decade later.
But there's so many pieces of technology that we need.
And I'm into it. I mean, I'm into NASA doing this kind of stuff, but they have to hopscotch it. They got to do the moon first, and they have to realize.
They did the moon.
No, but I mean, as a base and this kind of stuff, and all of these places, they're all like frozen, poisonous hellholes, right? We have to remember that.
But let's just say we get there. Let's say we get there, right? So then what is life like when we get there? Because I'm telling you, when there's 3 gloomy days of weather in Los Angeles, my mood is already
Imagine
low.
living on a cruise ship that has a dome around it. That's what you're asking for.
Well, think of it like Vegas, where you can go into Vegas and they have like sky in the ceiling and everything else, and you get lost in it.
So NASA actually has I forgot what it's called, but they want to use mycelia, which is the fungal that grows underground, to start building structures there because it's lightweight enough to carry. All you do is add water and you can grow it into a structure. That actually sucks worse because you're living in like a little brown mushroom.
Mentally, we can't handle it.
And
a
lot of vitamin D.
Be like Jack Nicholson on The Shining after.
You have to learn how to make your own food. You have to be happy with being secluded. It kind of reminds me of the Twilight Zone, where they were basically had an astronaut that was in seclusion, and they were basically trying to figure out if his mind was going to go crazy, and it did, because he was in isolation for such a long time.
This wouldn't be isolation.
Just look at it, but it's not a lot of people, so you're going to be isolated for a little while.
This is why we don't
We're
send
talking
people.
about life on Mars, and we still have to get there first. And to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, it's like, if we were to send someone to Mars, not only does it have intense physical effects on the human person, but psychological effects too.
NASA is testing what it would be like for people to live on Mars. There's a mission called CHAPEA, which stands for Crew Health and Performance Exploration Analog. These 4 NASA specialists spent over a year in isolation in a 3D printed facility in Texas. They literally just emerged like 2 weeks ago. But they emerged fine, and they tested a lot of things like crop growing and things that would simulate mostly what it would be like to be on Mars. But the data needs to come in.
If you believe in Darwinism, then maybe it won't be 10 years, but people will die and certain people will survive. And over time, you adapt, and maybe in 1,000 years, colonizing Mars is going to be easy.
This will happen. It's just Elon Musk is saying it's going to happen too soon.
He's giving the wrong numbers.
That's right. But inevitably,
getting there is really not as big a deal, I think.
Getting there's the easy part. We're totally glossing over the hard part. It's radiation. It's the radiation on the way there, the radiation when you are there, and then the radiation on the way back. We have absolutely no studies on how it's going to affect the human body, because when people are near Earth, they're still protected by Earth's electromagnetic field. But when you head to Mars, Mars doesn't have one. Anybody who goes there is going to come back, and maybe if they survive, but they're going to develop cancer.
Let's just send send some people and see what happens.
Yeah, let's
right?
just go
Because
for it. Let's just dump them
Remember
out.
when they said the car was invented? They're like, if you go over 30 miles an hour, your face is gonna fall off.
We have science on radiation.
Yeah,
Like we know it's gonna do it. Yeah.
People are down to go though.